So yesterday you listened to a story called Town Mouse, Country Mouse, and we had already read that story, remember? It was a really good story. Today I'm going to read you a different version of the story. Remember, a different version is when they use the same format and characters but slightly different. And this one is from Australia. It's called Town Possum, Outback Possum. It's by Yvonne Morrison and Heath Mackenzie. We have possums in North Carolina, and one of the few animals that they have in Australia that's the same as we have here are possums. We have them everywhere here, but they also have them everywhere in Australia. When they say town possum, they mean city in Australia. When they say outback, they mean country. Outback means out away from the coast and away from the city. So let's find out what happens in this story. And while we're reading it, the purpose for your reading is you're going to be thinking, what's the same in this story and what's different in this story? We've done this before with gingerbread men stories, remember? This one's called, there's the title page, Town Possum, Outback Possum. I like possums. There's a place in the scrub at the back of beyond where eucalypts grow alongside a cool pond, where in a hollow enjoying his rest, Jacko the possum lay curled in his nest. One day he peeked out to take in the view of the sparkling pond and the sky of deep blue. My life in the treetops, he thought, is pure bliss. There's nothing down under as special as this. It means he likes where he lives and he is not interested in moving to the country, is he? Into the city, rather. He thinks it's beautiful there. I think it is too. Just then, far below him, Jack heard a new sound. "G'day!" a voice shouted from down on the ground. "I've come for a visit. Your place is sure pretty," yelled Jessie, Jack's cousin, who lived in the city. Here's Jessie. Jessie says, "G'day." That's how they say good day in Australia, or hello. They say, "G'day, mate." Jess climbed up the tree and said, "What's there to do?" "That's easy," Jack said. "We can look at the view." So they watched the sun gradually sink in the sky as they munched their way right through Jack's gum leaf supply. They ate all his food, all his gum leaves that he had put in bottles. But after 3 days of Jacko's dull cooking, the 3 endless nights of just sitting and looking, Jessie the possum began to feel bored. She longed to return to the town she adored. "Jacko," she said, "you've been really kind, but life in the outback is boring, I find." "Try living at my place," said Jessie the possum. "My life in the city is totally awesome." See how big the illustrator made those words? Totally awesome. I love how they made it in block letters. Very wonderful. Jessie looked so excited that Jack said, "Well, all right." And the pair caught a train on the very next night. They slept through the journey, and when they awoke, Jessie cried, "This is it. We're in the big smoke." Why do you think they call it the big smoke? Maybe because there's more pollution there in the city, in the town, than there was in the country. It's smoky pollution. "Come on," Jessie said. "Let's get something to eat. There's a cafe down here at the end of this street." Jacko spotted a sign for Benito's buffet, so he took off and scampered inside the cafe. No cafes in the outback. Jessie has cafes, but Jacko, he doesn't have any cafes. On the top of each table, Jack saw a red rose wafting heavenly smells to his sensitive nose. So he climbed on the table to take a quick bite, but before he could swallow, poor Jack got a fright. Oh, I wonder what it is. Maybe it's that. Let me read that page and we'll find out. "A man with a fork scared him off with a shout. 'You miserable possum! Go on now, get out!' With a squeal, Jack jumped up, down, and hurried away, back out the back door of Benito's cafe. He's a scary looking man. Ugh. "We don't use the front door," Jess said with a sigh. "The rubbish bins have the best nibbles to try." So they dashed around the back where Jess hopped in a bin, and Jack gasped with delight as his cousin tucked in. She's eating all the food in the garbage. I guess that's delicious for a possum. Kind of like a mouse, huh? There were biscuits and gravy and scraps of pot roast, puddings and fruit peels and crusty French toast. "Dig in," Jessie said with her mouth full of ham. So Jack scoffed a pancake with custard and jam. I guess they do like to eat out of the garbage. I don't think that I would like that. Do you think you would like to eat out of the garbage? Especially not right now, huh? It's not a good time to eat things and get sick. When their tummies were full, they strolled down the main road where a dazzling display of neon signs glowed. "There's so much to look at," cried Jack. "I'm amazed. And my poor head is spinning. I'm dizzy and dazed." The smelly car fumes and the dust made him sneeze, so Jack begged his cousin, "Let's go home now, please." Jess chuckled and said, "Can't you handle the pace?" But they jumped on a bus and were soon at her place. I wonder what her place is going to look like. Probably not a branch of a gum tree. "We're here," Jess declared as they came to a gate. "But here comes a dog. Better run for it, mate." The dog chased them, snarling and snapping his teeth. They dived at the gate and squeezed underneath. Oh! Then they climbed up a wall and crawled through a gap, wriggling under the roof where Jess curled up to nap. But Jack thought his heart might burst out of his chest, and oh, how he longed for his cozy tree nest. He just wanted to go back to his gum tree, didn't he? It was safe there for him. He wanted to sleep, but noise kept him awake, blaring and shouting. It made his head ache. "What's that horrible sound?" he yelled over the noise. Jessie yawned and said calmly, "Oh, that's just the boys." "They get up bright and early to watch their TV," Jacko moaned. "I don't like it. I miss my old tree. It might be exciting to live here in town, but it's just not for me," Jacko said with a frown. There's the boys getting up to watch their TV. That'd be very noisy if you were up all night. You wouldn't want to get up either, would you? No, not just the possums. "I've been chased by a dog and harassed by a waiter. The city is fun, but its dangers are greater. The back of beyond is the place I love best. It's a place where a possum can get a day's rest." He gave Jessie a hug and told her, "Hooroo! My visit is over. I need to shoot through. It's home where's the heart is. I guess we agree. It's the city for you and the Outback for me." I must say I like the Outback better when I lived there too. I lived in the Outback in Mount Isa. And there is a kookaburra, happy to see Jacko home in the gum tree. Okay, that story's over, and the next video that you listen to is going to be the one where I tell you the lesson that you have to do with this story today. But what I want you to think about while you're before you start the video is, how are the two stories the same and how are they different? How was City Mouse, Country Mouse the same as Outback Possum, Town Possum, and how are those two things different? Because we're going to do a Venn diagram. Remember that? I'll show you in the next video. I love you.